introduce, let me just tell you a little bit more about our guest keynote speech happening on stage right here. He is a researcher. He is the founder of GAUGECASH. He goes by the name of Manuel, with 18 years of experience in the finance industry, specializing in trading, in venture capital, investment banking, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please give a big round of applause to Manuel Blanco.
World Blockchain Summit. Actually, it's my first time in Dubai. And I came here to introduce, let me allow for some water here. To introduce the first decentralized monetary system in the world. And we have called it GAUGECASH. So the only thing that I want to highlight about my career is I have a background in physics. I love theoretical physics till this day. So I believe, I am a true believer, that to find really good answers, you really need to make very, very good questions, right? So when I was planning this keynote to you, I wanted to go like this. Okay, let's make some questions, and I'll give you the answers, right? So this is because, again, I am telling you that this is the first decentralized monetary system in the world. So the question is, what is a monetary system, right? What is a monetary system? So there's a modern, real straightforward answer to this question. And the answer is like this. I just read it to you. The primary goal of central banks is to provide their country's currencies with price stability by controlling inflation. A central bank also acts as the regulatory authority of a country's monetary policy and is the sole provider and printer of notes and coins in circulation. So that is a monetary system, right? But the next question is, how are we doing with these central bank monetary systems? And the answer is, I am not one of those people that go against and in favor or anything. I just want to be very objective, right? And we have seen in the last century a lot of growth for the world. So it's working in a way. But let me show you the part that is not working, okay? So this is a map. We took the information from a book released by a fund manager, Ray Dalio, Big Debt Crisis. So in the world, we have had in the last century 27 big debt crisis, okay? Big debt crisis, currency crisis. And sometimes, several times in the same country. So what does this mean to people, okay? So, because sometimes we think that this is a problem of the past. So this is Venezuela, just in the last, let's say, 7, 8 years. So what is called in economics an hyperinflation crisis, it looks like this. Like you have a currency, 1 bolivar, let's say, and then what happens is, suppose it's worth 10 bolivars per $1, and then you need to pay 20, and then 30, 40, 50, blah, blah, blah. And this is a real number. By 2017, people in Venezuela needed to pay 4,500 bolivars per $1. It's crazy. So I will just go real quick in some mathematics, because this will come handy next, but don't worry about mathematics, okay? So basically in Forex, what we do, let me see, where is the pointer? Oh, here. In Forex, we write numbers like the 1.1570 euros per dollar, right? So this is represented by a simple equation. This is the equation, and then basically what happens is either you go to infinity or you go to zero. So in other words, what I want to translate this to you is like the value of people is worth nothing, goes to zero. That's what a hyperinflation looks like. So this is just a zoom out. And then let me put you just a real example, okay? In the last 3 weeks, it was released the iPhone 13. Many people, we know that this object, this product changed the world, right? So if you go to the US, you can buy an iPhone by 900 USD. And this is a point that I want to keep in your minds. The US is with China, they are the largest economies right now. So there's a lot of rich people in the US. So it's the cheapest place to buy an iPhone. And then you have a pattern here that starts developing. The next places to buy a good price an iPhone is Asia. After that, we have Europe. And then, for example, I have my country, Mexico, and then Brazil, which are the 2 largest economies in Latin America. And let's see what happens here, okay? So we have the price, and then let me show you something, okay? This is the graph of the real, the currency from Brazil in the last decade. Huge hyperinflation, okay? This is the graph of the Argentina peso in the last decade. Huge hyperinflation. And let's go back to the iPhone. For a person in Argentina and Brazil right now, if they want to buy this same product, it's twice or third the price. So the conclusion is, you are working your life, you are saving, you have savings, or you want to buy stuff, and then things go screwed, or they get screwed up, right? And then, but for you, then things get much more expensive. So that's a very paradoxical thing, okay? And I just want to end this part with something that I found before this keynote. So this is a paper released just in January 2020 by the World Bank. So here in the top, you can see currency crisis, all right? This is crisis from the 1970 all the way to 2020. And let me show you, we did a map for you. Everything that is in purple in this map, everything, has suffered for currency debt crisis in the last 50 years. So basically half of the world. And in white, you can see that North America, Europe, Australia, here, more or less, we have had what the central banks most do, which is control stability and inflation, okay? So this is the reality of the world today. So this is a problem. And I mean, I come from Mexico. My parents in '94. I am 40 years old, almost 25 years ago. This is not kidding you. From one day to the next one, in '94, I believe it was October, November, there was like a 200, 300 devaluation of the Mexican peso, and my parents lost their house, just like that. Okay. So keep in mind this problem, okay? Now, why I'm saying that we're building the first decentralized monetary system in the world? Well, I need to give you a little bit of context, right? So most of the people here probably know this paper, which is the genesis of everything that we're doing right now here, right? So still some friends comes to me that are not part of the crypto industry, and they ask me, Manuel, what is Bitcoin? So I always tell them there's a simple question and a hard question. I'm sorry. A simple answer and a hard answer, okay? The simple answer is Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. That's Bitcoin, right? I didn't put it there. It's this. But something more interesting for me is this is my quote. I would say it's an amazing disruption, giving birth to the first peer-to-peer electronic cash system, which is here, that was successfully implemented, solving what is called in academia, in computer science, the Byzantine generals problem. Maybe, I don't know if you knew that. Using well-tuned symphony of game theory. Game theory is part of mathematics. Cryptography, part of mathematics. And computer science, part of mathematics. Okay? Now, you can read the paper. Maybe you have read it. And then we have all these blockchains, and these guys are amazing, right? So blockchain technology is really, really a disruption. So the next important question about Bitcoin is Bitcoin's issuance model. So the next question, some friends of mine ask me, Manuel, where the value of Bitcoin comes, right? And I sometimes, maybe this has happened to you, you go to a table for dinner, and then all these crazy discussions about Bitcoin value and blah, blah, blah. So, as again, there's a simple question and a difficult question. I mean, a difficult answer and a simple answer. The simple answer is this one. It's economics 101, okay? So this is a supply and demand curve, and this is a supply and demand curve in the second. So when you have an asset that has elasticity is called, economics called like that, meaning that if there's a rise in demand, you can provide more, then the price, the change in price is smaller, okay? And Bitcoin has a scarcity building that. It's just by design. Because we know everybody that is going to be 21 million Bitcoins around. So the supply of Bitcoin is scarce. So economics call this inelastic supply. So here, a change in demand of Bitcoin makes the price goes up and down. That's explanation. Very simple, okay? Very simple. But in finance, we call this volatility. So, when we were building, we were not building GAUGECASH. We were building a product ourselves that we needed to hedge against volatility of crypto assets, okay? So, of course, you know that there are out there tons of stable coins, right? One spec to US dollar, one specs to gold, whatever. But many people, they don't know. They are not as stable as you think. And the other thing, they are centralized, okay? So I'm going to say something here that maybe is going to be very controversial, but like, I don't like Tether, not Ether, okay? Tether, the USDT, right? Not because the dollar is great, but Tether. So we want to go and take Tether down, okay? Why we want to take it? Because it's centralized, and blockchain is about decentralization, okay? So how do we solve this problem? You need to understand a lot of things of theoretical economics to be able to solve it. So we created an index. We needed a new kind of index. So this is inspired on the index industry. So maybe you have heard about Standard & Poor's, Dow Jones, NASDAQ, blah, blah, blah. So this comes from economics as well. So there's something called modern theory of portfolios, okay? So basically, if you take assets that are volatile and you put a weighted average on them, the result is more stable than its parts. This is just a definition of mathematics, what happens with the portfolio. Now, in the last 50 years, we have come with amazing mathematics to make these risk return ratios with incredible, amazing data, okay? So, I'm just going to read. We have created an index coming from the final market making of the Forex market to solve the problem of volatility. Why this? Okay, I just want to give you a simple idea of what this means. We need to price goods and services. So the world, how does the world right now price goods and services for trading globally? They use the US dollar. And the second one, the euro. And the third one, the Japanese yen. And the fourth one, the GBP. And the fifth one, the Swiss franc, okay? So here, I will not get into this too much, okay? But this is the equation of the index. So it's pretty cool in one sense, okay? I will give you an idea what does this mean. So imagine you have let's take the best two currencies in the world right now, dollar, USD. We sum it up and divide it by 2. Then you got another number. That number, I can assure you, it can be a good number for the next years to price goods and services. But the key idea here is that it's not the USD, it is not the euro, it's another number. It's not the Swiss franc, but you can add it as well, okay? So the key idea of this index that I just want to make simple to you is that this number doesn't belong to any central bank. And now, this is going to get a little bit technical, I mean, in a summary, but we have partnered, I don't know if you know Chainlink. Chainlink is a company, that amazing team, that they are bringing feeds of data to blockchain. So we have partnered with them to release the GAUUSD price in a decentralized way, okay? So this will be live very, very, very soon. So we'll be, in our website, we just released 3 weeks ago, you can check the historical price of the index all the way to 2002 when the euro was released, and you will see that the volatility is the smallest in history, even against gold. But it's decentralized. So Chainlink plays a big part in here because nobody is going to be able to tamper with this number. No governments, not us, nor anybody. It's for the people. It's for us to use to price goods and services. Okay? So now, the other part, GAUGECASH, or this feed is a number that contains monetary policy. If you have some questions about that, we're in our booth, and I can answer you more deeply. This is a deep topic. It's not very easy to understand. I mean, the first one. This second one is a little bit harder, okay? So I will give you an idea. The idea here is, how do you back up this number in a decentralized way, right? For example, Tether. Tether put a token, an ERC20 token in Ethereum. It's $1, and they back it up in a bank in Hong Kong. That's it. But we didn't want to do that. So how are we going to back this up? We have DAI, for example, a decentralized stablecoin. They use collateralization. And other protocols. But we're using something more, let's say, deep in terms of economics, what is called game theory, a part of game theory that is called Nash equilibriums, okay? To make it easy to you, using the same property that remember Bitcoin has this issuance model with the scarcity that gives this variability or volatility to its price. Something pretty cool about that issuance model is that we can raise that price up. Let me put you an example. Suppose there's only one Ferrari in the world left, and I put it here. And you want to buy a Ferrari, all of you. And we make an auction. What is going to happen to the price of this Ferrari? It's going to start increasing, right? It's just a phenomenon that is already very well studied. If there is a lot of Ferraris, you go to the dealership here in the street, you buy one Ferrari, when you take it out of the street, the price will go down, okay? But if there is a scarce asset and you start demanding it, the price will go up. So GAUGECASH, the stable coin that is decentralized, will demand a scarce asset. Then basically, I'm going to say it just real quick, just to give you the glance in technical terms. This is going to be a specific kind of pool, decentralized pool, with some management behind it, of some blockchains that have the scarce issuance model in the back. Not Bitcoin in this case. Bitcoin cannot be done because of problems of scalability. But we have amazing teams working with us. Solana, Polygon, Avalanche, Ethereum, etc. Okay? So finally, why to invest? We're in a pre-sale phase. Well, let's look at the market, okay? So already Tether has let's say, 100 billion volume dollars per day. You know that, right? Well, we want to bring that volume to GAUGECASH. Why? Because it's decentralized. If we do that, then the asset, the other token that is called GaugeField, it has a scarcity built on it. Basically, it's going to wrap another scarce decentralized asset that you already have, okay? I can show you the result, but like this needs just for a professional valuation, needs to be worth with that volume right now around $500 billion USD, this project, this protocol, okay? If we make it, of course, if we want a decentralized monetary exchange. So maybe, I'm introducing to you, maybe this could become a little bit of history. Then we're already working, so we will deploy the service very soon, very soon. And you are going to be able, if you have crypto, so let's say my parents in Mexico, they don't understand crypto, right? They don't understand economics. They don't understand anything. So we want to make a very simple user interface. They take Mexican pesos, somebody help them buy some crypto for GAU, and then once they have GAUGECASH, nobody will be able to put that value down. Okay, and if we start, this is the key part. If we start, remember Bitcoin was a peer-to-peer cash system? We want GAUGECASH to become a stable peer-to-peer cash system. So we can trade, we can put prices to goods and services. If we start exchanging freely, remember half of the world needs this. If we start to trade in this, then we are targeting the largest financial market in the world, which is Euro USD from Forex. The Euro USD market transacts 5 trillion per day. So in the 10 years or 20 years, this can be one of the largest ventures for investors as well in history. So we love this project because it's a self-reinforcing economic system for investors and for users. People can put money to give liquidity to users that need stability, and investors can benefit from the growth of it. But it will not go forever. It has equilibrium points. Once it's achieved, it's done, okay? So what is coming? I just want to give you just a final idea, because very cool ideas are coming after the project. Hopefully we establish the technology, we escalate, we have a decentralized monetary system that people start buying goods and services and trade. But what's next? So, for example, we will be able to measure in real time what a cup of coffee worth in every part of the world, right? So we can bring new ways of making monetary policy better for everyone. So this is what we're looking forward. We will be presenting the technology very, very soon. Wait for Chainlink's announcement of the GAU feed. It's going to be totally decentralized. And then the pre-sale is live. You can benefit from this amazing first decentralized monetary system. Thank you.